안녕하세요. 매일경제 뉴욕 특파원 김용갑입니다. 세계 최대 전자상거래 업체 아마존의 혁신은 세상을 완전히 바꿨습니다. 특히 2005년부터 시작한 아마존 프라임은 고객들에게 더 빠른 배송이라는 새로운 경험을 제공했습니다. 이 아마존 프라임은 당시 3에서 5일이 걸리던 배송을 이틀 내로 배송하기 시작했습니다. 그리고 하루 배송으로 그 시간을 줄이더니 이제는 당일 배송 시대를 열었습니다. 스마트폰을 열고 아마존 앱에서 아침에 상품을 주문하면 저녁에는 상품이 도착합니다. 미국이라는 거대한 나라에서 어떻게 이 당일 배송이 가능하게 됐을까요? 그 배경에는 로봇과 AI가 있습니다. 특히 아마존의 물류센터는 그야말로 이 최첨단 기술이 적용된 공간이라고 할 수가 있는데요. 실제로 로봇과 AI가 어떻게 활용되고 있는지 직접 확인을 해보겠습니다. 이 아마존의 물류센터는 촬영이 금지되어 있는데요. 정말 어렵게 이 아마존의 허가를 받았습니다. 아마도 한국 최초가 아닐까 생각이 됩니다. 그래서 오늘 방문한 곳은 이 미국 델라웨어주에 위치한 아마존의 물류센터인데요. 미국 아마존의 시설 가운데 규모가 꽤 큰 곳 가운데 하나입니다. 이 시설이 특별한 이유는 크기보다는 아마존의 이 최신 기술들이 적용되어 있기 때문입니다. 함께 만나보시죠. 가시죠. 이 아마존의 공장이 들어오게 되면 보시는 것처럼 로봇 청소기 같이 생긴 이 작은 로봇이 이 노란색의 선반을 움직이게 되는데요. 이 주문이 들어오면 그 주문에 맞게 이 선반이 작업자들에게 이 물건들을 가져다 주는 겁니다. 여기에 있는 것들은 이제 이 아마존 셀러들의 물품들이고요. 이 물품들이 주문이 들어오면 실시간으로 바로 작업자들에게 물품을 가져다 주게 됩니다. 그런데 지금 저기 보이는 저 작은 로봇 청소기처럼 생긴 저 작은 로봇 하나가 힘이 굉장히 세다고 합니다. 그래서 물어보니까 이 로봇 하나가 들 수 있는 게 소 한 마리를 들 수 있을 정도로 굉장히 큰 힘을 발휘를 한다고 합니다. 그래서 굉장히 작지만 실용적이고 센서가 함께 있기 때문에 여기서 밑에 있는 QR코드를 따라서 움직이기도 하지만 이 QR코드뿐만 아니라 센서를 따라서 또 움직이면서 충돌하지 않도록 굉장히 세밀한 작업들을 하고 있는 걸 보실 수가 있습니다. 지금 로봇들이 굉장히 바쁘게 움직이고 있는 걸 좀 보실 수가 있는데요. 로봇들이 지금 자기 차례를 따라서 길을 따라서 저렇게 부딪히지 않게 움직이고 있는 것을 좀 보실 수가 있습니다. 로봇이 없는 선반 같은 경우에는 이 선매가 빈번하게 되지 않는 물품들이 저기에 지금 또 보관이 되고 있는 겁니다. 이쪽 가까이 가져오면 이게 작업자에게 가져다 주는 거거든요. 걸리 있는 거를 이쪽으로 가지고 오게 됩니다. 그럼 작업자가 여기를 이제 패킹을 하게 되는 거죠. Could you introduce yourself to our subscriber?
Hello, my name is Kate, and I am a manager with the Amazon Tours program. I have actually worked at Amazon for about 9.5 years, and I am really excited to show you the process behind our Amazon robotics delivery fulfillment centers here in Delaware in the US. They come from vendors, they come from sellers. About 50% come from a small or medium-sized business. And then we open those items and we distribute it throughout the building, okay? Once they're in the building, we will put them away into our inventory. Yeah. Then when a customer orders that item, we're able to pick it out of our inventory. We send it along conveyor belts where it can get packed. Then we will apply the customer shipping label. Then we use some robotics to sort those packages into the smaller deliveries where they're actually going to go to the customers, right? When we think about where they go next. And then we will put them on the trucks and get them out of our building.
Is this facility fully automated or employees works as well?
Yeah, so in this building that we're in now, we have thousands of employees. They're probably not all here at the same time. They work a variety of different shifts, but they're working alongside of those robotics, right? So it's not fully automated. The reason why is because we rely a lot on our employees to do our quality checks, to make sure that the items are in good condition to ship out to our customers, and we want to make sure that they're not broken, they're not damaged. So the human eye and the human hands do a lot of that detection for us along the way. But the robots are really just sort of taking away the repetitive jobs and a lot of the additional walking that used to be involved in the process before. So years ago, we used to have to kind of walk up and down aisles to put items away and take items out. And that took a really long time and it wasn't as efficient. So now that we've introduced these robotic drives that you can see out here behind you, our employees get to work at stations. This is where they're gonna work, and then the robotics are gonna kind of move all those products around. So what makes Amazon really unique is that we don't have departments. We don't separate the types of goods that we have in the building. If you look on the shelves, and you can kind of see a little bit, you'll see that there's kind of a variety of things all over. And we do that on purpose. So this way, when we run out of something, we don't have empty space. We simply put things away where we have room to store it, and then we use the barcode and the AI tracking systems to ensure that we know where everything is in the building, okay? And then our robotics are actually gonna move all of these shelves around to either store the items for later, or then when it's time to order it, the robot can actually go get the shelf and bring it to an employee at a workstation to pick the item out. So you're not walking all around the building, right?
Do robots bump into each other?
Yeah, the robots actually don't bump into each other. So if you watch them moving out there on the floor, we're gonna talk a little bit about, I'll tell you a little bit about how they move around. So if you look on the ground, you're gonna see some stickers.
Yeah.
They look like barcodes, right?
Oh, yeah.
QR codes.
QR code.
Yes. Underneath each robot is a sensor, and it's gonna scan that QR code. So that's the pathway by which the robots are traveling out on the floor. That code is gonna give them a lot of information. It's gonna let them know where to turn, if they should go straight, if they should go to a shelf. It's giving them all of their commands through that code. It's also, every time it scans, it's recording how much battery is left on the robot, the temperature of that robot, and we have access to all of the information for each of those robotic drives through our systems to make sure that they don't need maintenance and that they're operating correctly. All of the robotic drives are also sensors. So not only are they following the commands of the stickers on the floor, but they also have sensors. So when they get close to another robot or an object, a wall, a pillar, they will automatically stop and move around that. So you can see them as they're moving around. They get really, really close to each other, but they don't actually touch or collide. The system is designed to avoid that for safety reasons.
Is this system connected in the real time with customer orders?
Correct, yes. The system is connected real time with customer orders. So as we order things, we sort of identify where they are in the building or where they are in our entire network. All of our robotic drive units are named after characters in Greek mythology. So these robots are actually called Hercules.
Hercules?
I will, a little bit later in the process, I'll introduce you to a robot called Pegasus. And then all of our robotic arm robots are actually named after birds. Birds. So I will introduce you to some of those in a little bit as well. But these are called Hercules. That's why they're so strong.
And I ask one more thing.
Sure.
Is this robot fully independent or centrally controlled?
Yeah, so the robots are autonomous. So there is no one in the back with like a joystick controlling them. But there is a system that is in place based on those stickers on the grid, right? So our employees can log into that system and they can see if something's wrong. But there is nobody actually controlling the robots. They're moving around just based on that grid system on their own. When a customer clicks buy on Amazon, what we need to do is we need to pick out the items from the pod. So an item will show up on our computer screen. We'll know exactly what we need to pick. There's a light that shines down and illuminates. You can kind of see it exactly on the shelf where the item is located that we need to pick out. We'll take the item off the shelf, we'll scan it, and then we'll place it into one of these yellow totes. The computer is going to tell us which tote to place it into. So these lights will light up green if that is the tote that I'm supposed to place the item into. So all of these totes are filled with different customers' orders. Each tote doesn't necessarily belong to just one customer. So if you ordered one item, your item can be in here with my item, right? We'll send this downstairs and then we'll pack those items one at a time.
작업자들이 여기에서 제품들을 노란색 박스에 담게 되면 이렇게 자동적으로 이동을 하게 되고 컨베이어 벨트에 이동할 수 있게 움직여서 이 위에 있는 컨베이어 벨트로 올라타게 됩니다. 그래서 다음 순서로 이제 이동을 하게 되는 겁니다. 이제 함께 가서 또 한번 만나보도록 하겠습니다. 지금 위층에서 제품들이 노란색 박스에 담겨서 포장을 위한 작업대로 이동을 하게 됩니다. 여기 보시면 저희가 생각했던 것보다 훨씬 빠르게 이렇게 박스들이 이동하시는 것을 좀 볼 수가 있습니다. 컨베이어 벨트에서 굉장히 빠르게 분류가 돼서 이동을 하게 됩니다. 보시는 것처럼. 네.
Our employees will actually pack our customer orders in multiple different sizes of boxes. All of our pack stations have everything we need to pack those boxes. So when the employee takes a tote down and they take an item and they scan it, our computer screen will actually show them exactly what size box they need to select for that item. So if it's a small item, we take a small box. Our tape machines are here and they actually have a letter on them. So each letter is the size of the tape that we need. So for a small box, we use a small piece of tape. You can see it's small. We just like kind of stick that on there, flip it over, put the item inside, close the box. Another piece of tape, you can kind of see, it's like sticky. So what we do then is we grab one of these labels and we scan it. And this is gonna be all of the information that we need for that shipment. So it's going to be almost like a license plate for the package. It's going to have the customer's name and information, the size and weight of the item that's inside the box, as well as the weight of the box and the size of the box. So I actually have no idea, and our packers have no idea who you are and what you've actually ordered, because your information is not on here yet. It's just a barcode. So once we pack up the box, we add it down here to this conveyor, and then we send it along to be able to get labeled. So we just drop it, say goodbye, and then it goes and it gets its label.
이게 테이프가 나오는 것 같아요. 오, 너무 신기하다.
So all of the tape in the building, we store it in a roll and it's dry, but in the machine is water. So there's like a glue on the bottom, and you can see it's sticky. So when it comes out wet. So that way when you go to put it on the box, if you make a mistake, you can take it up and you can do it again. Sometimes packing tape is really sticky and you can't move it.
Yes.
So this lets us kind of move it a little bit before it sticks all the way.
지금 보시면 이 작업들이 어떤 작업이냐면 저기 끝에서 지금 상자를 만들기 위한 재료들이 나오고요. 그 재료들이 이제 박스로, 아마존 박스가 됩니다. 그리고 아마존 박스로 만들어지면 이 패키지 크기에 맞춰서 자동적으로 크기에 딱딱 맞춰서 이렇게 포장이 되는 것을 좀 보실 수가 있습니다. 제품의 크기에 맞는 상자 사이즈로 상자가 만들어져서 여기서 제품과 상자가 만나서 이게 포장이 되는 그런 기술력을 또 볼 수가 있습니다. To explain this system.
So when the packages are packed by our employees and they're in their boxes and they're all taped up, they're going to come up this conveyor here and they're going to pass through this machine, which is called SLAM. Now SLAM is an acronym. It stands for scan, label, apply, and manifest. And what we're doing here is we're creating the customer shipping label that goes on that package. So if you look here to the side, you're going to see the red light. You see the red light? It's going to light up, it's going to scan. And then this piece of conveyor right here is actually a scale. So we're going to weigh each package to the nearest gram. And that's how we know if what you ordered is inside that box. Then, if you follow me here, in just a couple seconds and just this little bit of conveyor, we take all of the information that we get at this point, right? The customer name, the item, the weight, We bounce that up to our servers, and then we create, print, and apply the shipping label directly onto those boxes. So there's two printers here. They're doing the same thing. They are just taking turns to make sure we're getting all the packages out. And then once these are labeled, we're gonna send them to get sorted so they go on the right trucks.
포장이 완료된 제품들은 컨베이어 벨트를 통해서 로봇팔같이 생긴 이 로빈이라고 하는 기계가 이렇게 소포를 또 다시 다른 로봇에 옮겨줍니다. 그 로봇은 이제 페가수스라고 하는 로봇인데 저 로봇 같은 경우에는 각 위치에 가까운 지역끼리에 맞게 이제 배송하기 편하게 그 물건들을 모으는 작업들을 하는 겁니다. 주소지에 맞는 물건들을 정렬해서 페가수스가 하나하나씩 이렇게 세분하게 나누게 됩니다. 여기 내려가는 이 통 같은 게 통로가 있는데요. 저 통로를 향해서 해당 구역에 이 페가수스가 멈춰서게 되고 페가수스가 들고 있던 이 소포를 이렇게 떨어뜨려주면 트럭으로 가서 트럭이 이제 우리 집까지 배송을 하게 되는 그 작업을 거치게 됩니다. 관련해서 한번 간단하게 또 케이트에게 또 말씀을 좀 들어보도록 하겠습니다.
So this is the beginning of the sortation process. So what happens here is something that has not always happened inside of our fulfillment centers. So we started off, after the items are packed and they're labeled, we used to have to send them to a sortation center to be sorted. These robotics, both the Robin arm as well as the Pegasus drives, have sort of transformed our ability to sort within our fulfillment centers and eliminate that extra step. The Robin arm, complete with AR sensors and technology, is able to sense the package that it is going to pick up from the conveyor line, and it will know how much it weighs, how to orient it, how to place it, and it will then place that item directly onto one of these Pegasus drives. Now, the Pegasus drives are very similar to those Hercules drives that we saw in the pick and stow process, in that they're transforming the floor, transcending the floor based on these barcodes here. And what they're gonna do is on top of each of those drives is a mini conveyor belt. So as we place the individual package on top of that drive, it will then move to a location out here on the floor to drop that package nice and swiftly down one of these chutes. And at the bottom of those chutes is either a cart or a container that is then going to be moved directly into one of our outbound trailers. So we are able to pre-sort packages into smaller batches. So instead of having to put thousands of packages on one truck, all jumbled up together, all of the packages that are going to be going to one street or one neighborhood will essentially go into one cart. And then we can get those directly onto a truck and speed up that delivery process. So as we deploy more of this technology out, we get more efficient and then also safer, right? So we are also creating jobs. So in order to have these robots here in the building, we need people. We need people that are going to fix them. We need people that are going to train them. And then we need people in the manufacturing facilities that are actually going to build them and develop them for future iteration. Over there in the center are the chargers. So the robotic drives are actually smart enough to know when their battery is low. And as they're scanning those stickers, those codes on the floor, it's recording that battery percentage. And when it gets below a certain level, they will automatically head out to one of those charging docks.
What happens if the items are damaged during the process?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what happens if something gets damaged? Like what if it falls off a conveyor belt, right? Or it comes off a drive? So we do have people in the building that we train. So those folks are trained to be able to access the floor safely. We can do it in an isolated location. And that way somebody can walk on the floor, retrieve an item, and then it doesn't get shipped to the customer, right? What we'll do is we'll go back to those inventory shelves. We'll tell the system we need another one. We'll pick a new one, and then we'll ship that one to the customer, and we won't ship the broken item.
방금 보신 것처럼 위층에서 페가수스가 통로를 향해 소포를 이동을 시키게 되면 이 미끄럼틀을 타고 이제 내려오게 되고요. 여기서 이제 속보들이 가득 채워지게 되면 작업자가 이걸 가지고 가서 이제 트럭에 싣게 됩니다.
Once the truck is full, it will leave and it will bring those packages to your doorsteps.
Could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Kyle Fell. I'm the general manager for the facility. I've been in this building now, it's a little bit over 2 years. I will share a bit about my Amazon journey because I think it's a bit unique. I've been with the company, it'll be 15 years coming up in July, so a very, very long time. Why I say my journey is unique is I actually started as an hourly associate. I was a stower 15 years ago, and over the course of multiple buildings and multiple jobs, I've essentially done every job in between an associate up to a general manager.
What makes this facility different from the other Amazon fulfillment center?
So we are what is called a Generation 11 Amazon robotics sortable facility. So very fancy, very complicated terminology. Basically what it means is this is the latest iteration of the robotic technology that we've integrated into the fulfillment centers.
How big is this facility and how many robots are operating here?
So I'm sure you've seen it. It's a massive building. So it's over 600,000 square feet on the ground floor. We have a mezzanine level as well as 4 elevated floors, which brings the total to be over 3 million. If I think about all the robots that are in here, I think we're north of 7,000 autonomous robots that use AI and technology to do the jobs that they do on a daily basis. Like human intervention, while needed at times, is rare compared to the technology that we leverage.
Roughly how many items are processed here each day?
So we are a very big facility, as you could see, and we're also big from a volume standpoint. So we're in the top 10 for all of global operations across the company. On a given day, we're roughly, let's call it 600,000 units, and then we scale to probably 1.5x that as we get into our peak, our busy seasons, as well as our prime days.
How long does it take from when an order is placed to when it's fully packed?
So from when we get the item that generates with our picking software, and I'm sure you saw the picking software earlier, it takes roughly 4 hours for us to get it onto the trailer. So to go through our pick, our pack, as well as our sortation and our conveyance, some of the robots, as well as our ship dock processes, it's about a 4-hour window from when an order is generated.
Has using robot improved efficiency here?
So while it does, like the robotic technology we use, it is a means of efficiency. That's actually not why we put it into play. It's actually a safety play. So if I think about, and I told you before, this is a Gen 11 facility. If I think about our older generations, and I used to work in some buildings that did not have robotics, the jobs were very manual, they were very tough on the bodies. So every reason, and the main reason why we leverage robotics, is actually to reduce the risk of injuries. If I think about our robotic floors upstairs, our old model is an associate would walk around with a cart in, let's call it like a library, trying to find an item in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of aisles. Now, instead of having that associate walk, we've created an ergonomically friendly station, and we bring the aisle or the pod with the unit in it to the associate. They've got a ladder right there. They've got all the tools that they need to be successful. We even leverage AI and technology to try to help govern where we place items so that we keep them in what's called like the power zone, essentially the area where we see the least amount of injuries happen. We try to, let's call it, restrict folks from having to place items in the top and the very bottom of the pod so that the associates doing those processes don't have to bend as much. So going back to your question, like, yes, we do see efficiency from robotics, and obviously there is a win associated with that, but it's much more of a play on safety than it is on efficiency, why we have robotics.
Do they worried about the robot replacing their jobs?
No, it's actually a very unique and interesting question. So when I think about like the integration of robotics and technology, like there's always that fear, right? Are they going to replace me? The answer is no. We turn a job from one thing into another. So instead of having an associate who does the job like that, the Robin arm that you saw that inducts packages, now I upskill, leveraging our career choice program and some other means, we upskill portions of our workforce to do jobs to help fix the robots. and to go make sure that they're working efficiently and effectively. We have various roles like mechatronics apprentices and various other jobs. So instead of essentially having a person lose their job, we're training them and upskilling them to go be to be able to do a different kind of role that's more technical, usually pays better, those kind of things.
네, 오늘은 아마존의 최첨단 기술을 활용한 물류센터를 함께 확인했습니다. 이 아마존이 만드는 빠른 배송의 한계는 어디일까요? 아마존은 로봇과 AI를 활용해서 또 한 번의 혁신을 만들어내고 있습니다. 그리고 저는 오늘 방송을 끝으로 이제 한국으로 돌아갑니다. 지난 2년간 김용갑의 어바웃뉴욕을 사랑해 주셔서 감사합니다. 더 재밌고 유익한 콘텐츠로 찾아뵙도록 하겠습니다. 오늘 영상 재밌게 보셨다면 매경 월가월부 구독과 좋아요, 댓글까지 부탁드리겠습니다. 감사합니다.
네, 어바웃뉴욕 시청자 여러분 안녕하세요. 저는 용갑 선배 후임으로 앞으로 어바웃뉴욕을 진행하게 된 길금이 기자입니다. 어바웃뉴욕은 제가 개인적으로 한국에서부터 굉장히 즐겨봐왔던 콘텐츠였는데요. 뉴욕의 다양한 현장을 간접적으로나마 체험할 수 있었고 그동안 몰랐던 이 미국의 여러 기업들의 창업 스토리나 최근에 하고 있는 신사업까지 자세히 설명을 해줘서 저 또한 굉장히 많이 공부가 되고 뉴욕에 대해서 새로운 인식이 생기게 해준 프로그램이 바로 어바웃뉴욕이었습니다. 이런 좋은 콘텐츠의 새로운 일원으로 참여하게 돼서 굉장히 개인적으로도 영광이고 또 한편으로는 기대도 되지만 또 걱정도 앞서는 상황인데요. 여러분들 그동안 많이 아껴주시고 사랑해주신 만큼 이 응원에 보답할 수 있도록 어바웃뉴욕 시즌2에서도 앞으로 더 참신하고 기발하고 재미있는 뉴욕의 현장들을 전달해드릴 수 있도록 열심히 해보겠습니다. 어바웃뉴욕 계속해서 관심 부탁드리고요. 앞으로도 좋은 콘텐츠로 다시 인사드리겠습니다. 다음 주부터 시작되는 어바웃뉴욕 시즌2 많은 사랑과 관심 부탁드립니다. 감사합니다.